Welcome to Pubs of Prague, a rather ill-timed title for a YouTube channel during the time of COVID-19. Perhaps living rooms of Prague. But joining me now is local gadfly and Prague's favourite Belgian, Tiernan O'Rourke is here. Hello, Tiernan.
Hello, John. How are
Lovely
you
to
today?
see you. And coming
Likewise.
from his palatial summer mansion, perched high up in the Tatra Mountains, is Simon. As always, Simon's here. Now,
Thanks.
good to see you, Simon.
Likewise.
None of us want to make this sort of shitty video where we're sitting around in our living rooms on a Skype conversation, trying to figure out how it actually works. But what are we left with? I suppose we could just sit at home and do nothing and watch recordings of the 1974 World Cup final.
It
Or
was a
maybe-
good game, in fairness.
Or maybe not. So how is this current lockdown? It's week 2 we're in now, correct?
Oh,
Yeah, like day what?
Come on.
Day is running into one. I
Yeah.
think it might be the third week now, or is it? Well,
I think tomorrow is the beginning of the 3rd week.
okay.
It's
yeah,
double
so
digits at least, yeah.
It was 2 weeks ago when we were at Vishera.
Wow, seems like
Yeah, 2 weeks ago today.
Yep. So how has the lockdown been treating you? Are you sane, Tiernan? How has it been affecting? Have you got any amusing anecdotes to regale us with?
It's quite difficult when you're stuck at home alone with precious little to do. It's not that pleasant. I mean, I think it's the most sensible thing to do in the current circumstances. But in terms of, let's say, amusing anecdotes, not so many. I mean, trying to.
You're a very serious man, Tiernan.
I know. Sense of humor is not one of my best qualities. But
No, I don't.
none
I
of
don't
us
mean,
can be perfect, you know.
no, I don't mean that at all. But and of course, for you two social butterflies, you know, you must be going crazy. I mean, you guys are out every 3 nights in a day, if that's even possible. You must be gnawing your arm off. It's different from me. I'm
Yeah,
older. I
listen.
can put my slippers on and listen to the wireless and read the newspaper.
It's very strange, and I think everyone would like to go out, but basically you cannot. We have this ruling now where you can't go out with more than 2 in a group, which limits our choice considerably.
Yep, that's true.
So
That's a new
this is
now, isn't it?
the overriding emotion is one of frustration, and yeah, we're just a little bit restless, I suppose, just having to stay at home the whole time.
Yeah. Simon, how are you going there in your, where are you now? In your library? Or you just come out of the falconry? Or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get any good lighting by the pool, so I've had to come
Yeah.
inside. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I agree with what Tiernan said. I think it's definitely, because we both live alone, so it's definitely completely different to if, for example, in your case, you also have your wife there. I think for us, probably
That has
the
other problems, Simon. That has other issues.
I think for us, when you're alone, the daily contact is even like a lot less. So it's quite weird. It's just a weird time. As I said 2 weeks ago, it's weird. Yeah, it hasn't changed. It got weirder, if it's possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think you just have to just do things, or try not to do things to not take your mind off it.
Stave off madness.
Yeah, but it's looking like another month, so let's see.
I reckon.
Yeah, we have to get used to it at the end of the day.
Yep. At least another month, I think.
Tell ourselves jokes.
It's a good opportunity to learn a new skill. Language. Sorry, Tiernan already speaks 45 languages. And you, 30 languages, Simon? So that's probably off the table.
No,
but
I can be honest. It's in single digits.
yeah, still, you know, it's impressive.
It's
But
good
I
to
mean,
be
you could
modest,
learn a
right?
musical instrument, perhaps, or Tiernan, you could go back to the piano and brush up on those skills.
I'd love to, John, if I could get my hands on the piano at the moment. That would be
You
fantastic.
can buy a
But,
keyboard.
I could buy a keyboard if the shops were open.
They deliver Alza. You can literally get one. Seriously.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think Alzar and Amazon are still delivering all sorts of crap, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Alza's Czech as well. So yeah.
as Simon said, we're saving so much money by not being able to actually leave the house. That maybe that's not such a bad idea.
Yeah, that is one of the positives. We're all saving a bit of money, I think. We're not all going to bar 7 and flushing it down the toilet.
It's not just that,
Yeah.
but I wanted to book like holidays and stuff, and that money is like, yeah, not leaving the account now. So yeah.
There's a
All
silver
the
lining
interest
with
building
everything.
up, huh?
I don't know if it's a silver lining or just I don't
Right.
know what
You
it
can't
is.
take that money to the grave with you, as they say.
That's true. But on that point, I suppose we're lucky that, I mean, there's a lot of heartache going on with people losing their jobs.
Mm.
And we're lucky that we're not in that position yet. I can't see it happening, but yeah, so that's a silver lining, I suppose.
Yeah, we're lucky that we're not self-employed. Quite clear.
Yeah, exactly. And that probably leads on to Simon. We could do a little bit of a Simon Says here, where so the smaller breweries and the smaller the pubs and all that are struggling. What are they doing to help offset some losses or to make some money?
Yeah, so it was in the news here. I think we'll put the link in the description. But
Yep.
there's apparently so much beer here from the smaller breweries that it's going to go to waste. So basically, they're trying to get rid of it by any means. For example, Local, that's a place where we haven't been yet for a video, but
Okay.
I think they're selling a liter at the moment for 50 crowns.
Jeez.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and a lot of these smaller breweries are basically offering free delivery or some sort of delivery form and putting it into plastic bottles, and you can order it online. Um, I did it yesterday from Bar 7, our first video, and got some bottles of Unetitze 10.
A fine
So
beer. A
I'm
fine.
stocked up for lockdown, yeah. But I think it's a really good way to keep the businesses going, to offer this. So
Support your local pub. Yeah.
yeah.
God knows they've supported us, Simon. Bar 7. But I don't know about the plastic bottles. I find that a weird thing. I still can't get over that. Plastic bottles of beer. Anyway.
Yeah. It still tastes good though, I can confirm. So
Okay. But you're putting it in a glass, aren't you? So that, yeah.
yeah, but if you want, I can drink it from the bottle.
No, you're not. You're not doing it Darrow style, bum style, or whatever. And putting it in a brown paper bag and sitting under a bridge or at the entrance of a metro station. Oh, that's
Still tastes
very
good.
distasteful, Simon. Tastes good?
Yeah.
At least
You're
the
lowering,
taste
you're
is up
lowering your
to
colours there.
scratch.
You're lowering your colours.
I can lower my standards now. There's
The only way is up.
I can behave how I want, right? In my
Yeah.
mansion.
Well, I bet neither of us three have pants on at the moment. I know I don't. There, I've said it. Don't care. Don't care what you say. Why should I? I'm at home. Got a shirt on. Really.
You're not
I-
topless, at least.
Got to tell you something. We now have to wear masks, don't we, as we go outside every time,
Yes,
which is
that's
really
true.
weird. So every
It looks
time now in the Czech Republic we go to the shops or whatever, we have to wear a mask. I went out the other day and I don't actually have a mask. Do you have a mask? Any of you guys have masks? Because they're hard to come by.
I do
Yeah,
know.
it's a bit difficult at the moment. You need to have basic contact in a hospital or be sick,
Or be very good at arts and craft.
or to be very good with your hands.
You
Exactly.
could whip one up yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
But
the old
for those
singer.
who do not fall into these categories, one has to use a scarf or a balaclava or something like this.
Yep, I'm in the scarf category, even though I do have a very crafty wife who's very skillful at that. But at the moment, she's crocheting me a pair of underpants. I don't know how that'll work. But you've got one, Simon. But you got
Well,
a
I
fancy
also did because it came in quite first of all, you had to wear them only on the public transport, and then I think within like the next day you had to. It was like just going outside completely, so I didn't have time to. To be honest, I wasn't really bothered about it, so I also had to be inventive. So there's a YouTube video about how to make one from a T-shirt with a pair of scissors. I don't even have sharp scissors, so I had to use a bread knife. But yeah, but, I mean, I can
Such a
even.
bachelor. Such a bachelor.
Yeah, but I do actually have a proper one now, so from
Oh.
material. But
Well,
yeah,
that's a good thing that's come out of this. You've got a good scarf. Mask. There's a video I saw. My wife showed me where you can get a man's pair of underpants. You know, not the brief sort, and you can
yeah.
put them. You stick your head in the leg or something. It's hopefully if I find it, we're playing it now, or we'll put a link in the description. Yeah, and it works quite well. I haven't tried it yet because I really don't want to put my underpants on my head. I mean, I wash.
There's a really good meme, but it's not even a meme. It's just someone being recorded in a shop, and the guy has his trainer over his like mouth and nose, so it's sticking up vertically.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's unique.
Wow, you have to be inventive these times of crisis.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliantly inventive. Now, what I was going to say is, so I was putting on my scarf because we have a million scarves at home. I was putting on a scarf as I was walking out the door, and I started walking down the stairs because I'm a few flights up. I'm trying not to take the lift, just to move a bit. So I'm walking down the stairs, and while I'm walking down, I put this scarf around my head, and I'm trying to tie it up, and of course it obscured my vision. So I fell down about 3 steps of stairs and smacked my head into the wall at the end of the staircase there, and it all happened in slow motion. And for a while there, I thought, I'm gone here. I'm gone. I'm going to come out a cripple, or I might die. But I got up again and limped back upstairs. And what I was going to do, I just told my wife, I'm not going now. I've had enough. So I limped around for a few days. It's coming good now. But there you go. Be careful. Let that be a lesson. Well, this is what Pilsner Urquell are doing now because they've stopped. Obviously, no pubs are buying kegs anymore. So they've changed production, and there's an uptick now in cans of beer and little bottles of beer. And it just shows also what what companies are doing now. What pubs are doing now. They're just selling takeaway beer and some food as well, some sandwiches. And this video shows it. So let's play it now.
No one drinks more beer. Per person, the Czechs are world beaters, but the country was one of the first in Europe to implement strict social distancing rules. Now its breweries are trying to limit the damage to business. As bars go quiet, they've stopped filling new kegs and are stashing unused ones in refrigerated cellars to keep them fresh. The manager of the Pilsner Urquell brewery, Peter Coffran, says alternative production lines are working flat out instead.
Production is still going on. All our breweries are producing beer, but the packaging of beer has changed as there's no more demand from pubs. What that means is, during the past 2 weeks, the production of keg beer has decreased rapidly. Bottled and canned beer production lines are working at full capacity.
Local bars haven't completely shut for business. Instead, they're embracing a new way of working in a bid to stay afloat.
The word has spread around, and our regular customers, people that used to come in for lunch and beer, are now coming back to get a takeaway meal to their office. In the evening, they pick up draft beer in a plastic bottle to take home. That's how it works now.
But Czechs drink more of their beer in pubs compared to other nations, making the changes painful. A report from the industry group representing small breweries warned a quarter could go bust due to the effects of the virus outbreak.
Yeah, so with Local, so they're also available on this Vault app, which a lot of restaurants, cafes are now offering their menus for delivery, which is good. It's good that these like independent restaurants and stuff can still make money now during this period. And Local is on there, but I guess what Local also have is a window, so you can either go to pick up the stuff or you can have it delivered. So It's still, even in these times, it's still quite flexible. Well, within two options.
Yeah. They must be losing a hell of a lot. But
Yeah.
how many? I mean, this video just showed that when you have a look at it, Tim, that they estimate that a quarter of pubs will go out of business after this in Prague, or probably in the Czech Republic, which really limits some of the videos that we can make. But you just wonder how many will go out of business, and what is the Czech government doing to help small business? Because I haven't heard anything. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean they've announced the sort of financial aid for self-employed.
That's
But
correct.
yeah, point on the small businesses, yeah, I'm not really sure on that. We'd have to go a bit more into detail. But yeah, if you think that people are really, because I mean, we're still allowed outside, you're not supposed to go outside. But if you think that, for example, a lot of the hardcore locals that have maybe been going there for like 20, 30 years to this Pub X, for example, and they now, maybe they're like not going outside at all. So there's also even the option of getting takeaway beer. They've lost this Pub X because some people are completely staying indoors now. So yeah, it is going to be bad afterwards, I think.
It's going to be a different world after all this. You wonder, I mean, after all these big, huge historical events, and I think this is going to be one, things change, don't they? So you just wonder what's going to happen. What differences will there be now when this is all over?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Will you guys continue your social life, flitting about town, swanning about from party to nightclub to to cigar bars?
I already envisage.
Or will you continue just staying at home and tending and learning how to cook and paint, perhaps?
Yeah, I realize after this passes, I'm going to step up my standards and go to a cigar bar. Yeah.
Hey, a cigar bar would be pretty good. Going to a cigar bar with a brandy.
They have them in Prague, we can also go there.
Yeah, we should. I mean, I'm not a brandy guy. I'm just purely a beer man, but I'm happy to give that a go. Cigar.
So of course, as soon as this passes, there has to be a huge blowout party.
I just read stories that in hospitals in New York, you've got people, you've got doctors there who've gone through all their personal protection equipment and they're wearing garbage bags in the richest country in the world.
Well, the richest country, but also the country that will be the most affected by this crisis is what the people are predicting now. So that doesn't entirely surprise me, John.
I think you're right. And I think that's one good thing this government has done here for all, for all the bad things you can say about parts of the government in the Czech Republic. They've made very clear and decisive actions in relation to what we can do and what we can't do. And they were quick, weren't they? Especially after Italy started taking off. Things changed quick. We were at Visegrad having a beer thinking, we can come here next week if we really want to. Okay, the pubs are closed, fine. Now we can't even do that. And that happened within hours after we finished at Visegrad.
That's like the Donald Trump mindset, like 1 hour you think something and then the next day everything's still fine, and then suddenly, I knew it was coming, I knew it was a huge pandemic.
Yeah, well, he's a tremendously powerful man, Simon, he always knows. Capricious, I would say he is. He's never wrong, let's face it. The man is infallible.
Oh, yeah. No, we have to say that I think the situation here in the Czech Republic is among better ones in Europe. We're all aware of Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, where things are really getting out of hand. Belgium, of course, as well. The Netherlands is not good. I think it's here there's only, even though the cases are often, pretty much every day increasing. We still only have 1 in 4,000 cases here, or 1 in 4,000 people that's affected, which is still quite low.
Yep, I agree with
you. To Italy or Switzerland, which is another very badly affected country, so 1 in 500. So obviously compared to what we have here, these are quite good odds, if I can call it that.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I mean, I don't know, I went to the supermarket just before this morning actually, and everything's calm there. People were lining up. There was a few more queuing up. I actually arrived there just after 9 o'clock, and I was told, "You're too young. You can't go in," because they've got that over 65 from 9 till 11. I forgot about it. I thought, "Oh, I'm too young." Oh. Walked away with a bit of a spring in my step there.
You'll be going back next week for the same thing.
Yeah, and it won't be long before I'll be joining up at 9 o'clock in the next crisis. Anyway. So that was nice, but so I went back home. But it was calm. There was everything there. There was toilet paper there. There was pasta there. They were queuing up. They were standing. We were standing well apart from each other. Nobody was arguing. There's no limits on anything. I mean, I talk about my home country about there's limits on certain things. You can only buy 1 packet of toilet paper, 2 packets of pasta per person, rice, and all those sort of things. Baby formula. That's another issue, I think, baby formula. But they're just panicking over there. There was some heavier restrictions were thrown on by the government a few days ago, and you should have seen them go out to the bottle shops and the off licenses, and as we call them bottle shops, and stocking up on the alcohol. Which I don't blame them, because everyone needs a bit of a release of some sort. But the panic, and here, the Czechs are as cool as cucumbers. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think in general the social distance is being respected. You do see like occasionally outside groups of people, say 3 or 4, that is now technically against the law, which is technically not permitted at the moment. But by and large, I think it's quite good here. The people are fairly respectful of what needs to be done. I think I've noticed as well, there's quite a culture of people, especially on social media, which is the main way of communicating these days, unfortunately, that people are getting quite aggrieved if they see groups out and people are looking for phone numbers by which they can contact people to break up these groups because they think this is endangering the rest of the population and so on. So in a way, it can be a little bit too much, but I think it shows that the people have the right intentions at heart by doing this.
Yeah, they want to do the right thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I just think, for me, what's come out of all this is how calm and measured the Czechs are, and yet back home in Australia, not everyone, of course, and the UK and the USA, I think we can say the same. They're just out of control. Greed.
You sent me that video, John, of it's basically this woman and her husband buying the whole shop of, I think it was like kitchen roll and toilet
Let's play
paper.
it now, Simon. Let's play it now.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Toilet paper, so that
And
nobody else can
so
have
basically
it.
this huge pickup truck. I
Really
mean, it's so
lovely.
American to have this huge
And
like
I
pickup
wish I had
truck
gotten
and then
up
filling
earlier when she was
boxes of
telling me to go F myself in my
You need a ladder to
business.
get in it.
and then and then just giving shit between the person that's recording or whatever. But yeah, it's insane. It's funny that like these English speaking like first language English, so Australia, UK, and America seem to have handled it the worst so far in terms of when they brought the measures in.
Yeah, but I just, with the difference of the way the Czechs are reacting with supermarkets and Australia, UK, and America, the way they're reacting, there's one common denominator, I think, with those 3 countries is the response of the government. They've had this wishy-washy advisory, well, we don't think you should, we advise you not to go to the cinema and to the pub. It's a good idea to stay home, rather than just closing everything and saying you can't go. which is what the Czechs have done. But in Australia, it was, we advise you to stay home, only go out if it's necessary, but, you should stay home. And people are going, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to go out. I don't care what the government says.
Yeah, you need,
so there's not clear, hard and fast rules in place.
It's just you want that, everybody wants the last blowout, right? Because in America, people were still on spring break, so they were not observing the rules,
I don't think anyone took it seriously either.
Mm-hmm.
The government needs to step up and make a clear decision and just close it down. I mean, there were still shops open. The government was saying stay home, only go out if it's urgent. Yet clothing shops were open in shopping centres, and they weren't getting any customers, or a lot less, because the government was saying, no, we don't think you should go out. But they weren't telling the shops to close like they did here, except for the urgent ones, the supermarkets and the chemists, etc., and the tobacconists.
If they don't take it seriously themselves, for example, Boris Johnson in the UK was boasting
COVID positive.
Ago about shaking hands with people that were infected, and that came back to bite him basically this week because he now has it. So.
Yep.
Yeah, Prince Charles has it as well.
Prince Charles, I think the health minister in the UK has it as well.
Yeah, ironically enough.
Well, we will stay, gentlemen, we will stay ensconced in our apartments and only go out masked up when we have to go out and get some pasta for our spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly. So, on that note.
Let's hope that next week or next fortnight that the pubs are open. I'm not optimistic. We can actually do an episode of pubs of Prague rather than living rooms in Prague. But let's see what happens.
Let's hope that things can somewhat change.
Or maybe episode 2 of this.
It could be episode 2 of loneliness, laziness, and lockdown in Prague.
Lockdown, drinking alcohol at home.
Yeah, cheers. Oh, I'm out actually. I have to go back to the fridge.
Oh, yeah, cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen. And if anyone is interested in pubs of Prague, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, as the French say, à bientôt.
À bientôt.